and we are here back together again on another Thursday. Sans Cliff because he's on another mission on tonight here. But
Yeah.
everybody, welcome to another episode of Comic Book Spectrum here.
Can I immediately ask if we can take a quick moment for Jerry Conway?
Oh, we were going to do something a little bit more different.
Okay.
And when I say a little bit more different, I actually found this, which would be apropos for us to actually do on his behalf. Because, Cliff mentioned it, you mentioned it, and I actually gave some thought about it. Marvel actually did a nice little piece here.
Yes, thank you, Marvel.
So pretty much they're saying, they're paying tribute to the legend comic book writer who defined comic book storyline through his career. And I didn't realize how deep his career was. Now he's the one that we have to shake an angry fist at because of the death of Gwen Stacy.
The night that Gwen Stacy died. That was the first time a comic book made me cry.
He was the one responsible for that.
He made me cry. And while it hurt like a son of a bitch, y'all see the TVMA, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You got to admit, it was damn good writing. And
it was good writing for what Green Goblin said. As far as her being dead before he even got to
before she even hit the ground, before Peter could catch her, she had died from the shock of the fall. But it hurt, and on the one hand, yes, it hurt, but on the other hand, I just think of the level of craft as a writer it takes to bring that emotion out of somebody. And while my little child self remembers that tearfully, the adult in me appreciates that level of talent. And I mean, and it wasn't, I mean, it was the first time Marvel, I boo-hooed a bit over things in Marvel, or was like, dang, when Jean Grey emerges as Phoenix, that was a dang moment. Loki kidnapping Storm, Doctor Doom kidnapping Storm.
Well, yeah, that's that. But I go back
the death of Beylit and Conan made me cry when Beylit dies in the Conan. That because she was a character I really liked Beylit. And so it made me sad when Beylit died, and I'm like, okay, Girly probably went down swinging. At least that's what I tell myself. Girly went down swinging. But
he's also responsible for her.
Okay. Ms. Marvel. I just, I would just like to grab a certain...
that launched Carol Danvers.
I would just like to grab a certain blonde actress by the hair and shake her a bit and let her know you were never a captain.
That's what they end up making her. But again, a long illustrious career was like we wouldn't have Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man if it wasn't for him. Carol Danvers, the way that we know Carol Danvers was because of him. We would have never had the Punisher.
We would have never had the Punisher. There are a lot of stuff that we would have never had were it not for him. And like
when
I said,
Stacy wouldn't have died.
Yeah. You know what? I think Gwen.
We wouldn't have we would not have the Marvel incarnation of Dracula. Nor Werewolf by Night. We would not have Jack Russell.
Yes, and you know how I feel about werewolves and Werewolf by Night. So, he's got a special. Tomb of Dracula was fun. I liked Tomb of Dracula. I enjoyed it.
We would have never had Man Thing either.
Those who know
I
fear.
didn't realize his career was that deep because everybody kept talking about when he died. Everybody kept talking about Kazar. I was like, well, I was never a big Kazar fan.
I kind of liked Kazar. I didn't read his books consistently, but when he popped up, when he and the Savage Land popped up because the X-Men were there or whatnot, it was like, oh
Mhm.
look, Kazar's there. I had fun with Kazar that way. So I've never begrudged him Kazar,
Mhm.
you know. But like I said, it he gave in my childhood reading, he was a big part of that. And it's like, dude, rest in power.
Mhm.
Just rest in power. What is it? May the angels sing thee to thy rest, as the bard might say. Yes, I know I just
Well,
bastardized that, but
I'm more along the lines of I guess I have to wait to see what you write once I get over to the other side. That's the way I look at it.
flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Okay, blah, blah, blah. But so when Cliff reminded me of it, because I think someone else, I think George Gant or somebody else mentioned it the
Hmm.
day he died, and it's like, why does this name? Because they said, oh, he had died. I'm like, why does that name hit me? And then I read through what he'd done, and I saw the night Gwen State, and it was like, oh.
She was like those videos that talk about how people die in in different countries' movies.
you
It's like
know,
the way she found out who he was. She was like,
it's like, I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm, I'm coming for you, honey. But it was just, it was a sad moment for me, you know. And so it's like, okay, I just got to, and then Cliff brought it up because I was going to bring it up. It's like, I was going to ask, and then Cliff brought it up first. And it's like, okay, I was going to ask about it anyway. So,
yeah, because
but
I wasn't going to say too much about it because, like I said, it's like I've been in so many discussions about it. It's like how people, loved his work and everything, but everybody wanted to talk about Kazar. I was like, I was never a big Kazar reader.
like
So
I
I was
said,
like, okay, it's kind of like moot to me. And then when I look at the bigger picture, it's like, yeah, you're right. We wouldn't have Punisher. We wouldn't have Carol Danvers. We wouldn't have the night that's Gwen Stacy died. Gwen Stacy would still been alive if it wasn't for that. It was just little odds and ends. And like for you,
in
if
case
it
I've got
wasn't for him, we would have never had Jack Russell.
and King's got kitty cat. He's got that kitty cat.
Hmm.
His saber-toothed tiger friend. So, kitty cat. He's done a wonderful.
I forgot what the cat's
I
name
forgot
is.
what the cat's name is, but still, he gave us kitty cat.
Hmm.
So, as I call him. Uh, um, but yeah, I just it's when we lose someone like that, just stop and recognize it because folks say we don't talk enough comics. So we talking comics. You satisfied?
No, it's not about talking comics. It's just more about, along the lines. It's like we have a lot of great people who have been in the industry for a long period of time. He wasn't the only one that had passed away. There were others that have passed away, but he had one of the greater impacts as far as the industry is concerned. I mean, we don't talk about every last person that passed away that had a hit book. Granted, I
No.
mean, I get it. I get it. But this is like one of the bigger ones. Just like I dedicated a whole video on From the Death of a Small Press Publisher when Neil Adams died, and I had my reasons to because he was like one of the first people that kind of like treated me like a brother, a brother in creating out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. It's like he saw that I had a booth and everything. He saw I had my booth. So it's like he just started talking to me out of the blue.
I guess for me, it's like there are, for me as a kid growing up getting into comics,
Hmm.
Those were milestones. I had that issue, and my mom threw it away as a punishment. And I tried
Boo,
again.
boo, mom, boo. You threw away thousands of dollars if she would have kept it up as a
Oh my
9.8.
goodness. That I
Boo.
had that one. I had Phoenix rising out of the Hudson River, the when they crashed the jet into the Hudson River, and she went in Jean Grey and came out Phoenix. I used to have that.
Hmm.
Then when Marvel started doing the comic strip for newspapers, they had a Sunday edition that had that artwork of her coming out the water the first time
Oh, okay.
in a splash. And I had that. Okay. I could have been a rich woman today. Yeah, Ma, you cost me. I had that. I had um, the issue of New Mutants when Loki had Storm and they did the special outfit for her.
Hmm.
For that one, I had that issue. I had the issue where of that was on that storyline where they got her out. There were a couple of issues. I have that one. I
You
had
had did you have the X-Men annual that continued that story?
I had the one that where they got her out. And when they get her out, Loki makes a little storm doll, well, a little storm figurine. And you realize, okay, because at first it was like, oh, he's just looking for somebody who's got powers like Thor who might be able to go against him. But then when they get because they got the Warriors 3 and all of that to go help to get her out, um, he makes this little when he's they leave and he makes this little figure of her so he has something to remember her by. So it was like, oh, she was more than just a pawn for him. There was some connection between them that it was more than just, oh, this is someone I can use to go against Thor with. And I thought that was really interesting. So I had a couple of those. I had the first I had the one that was titled "Those Who Know Fear Burn at the Man" when they introduced the "Those Who Know Fear Burn at the Man Things Touch," and
Hmm.
it featured the words "to teach your children well." They actually put the
That was in the Man Thing series itself.
but that issue
Uh-huh.
they featured because the guy who ends up in the when he ends up in that period with the pyramid with the man thing and
Hmm.
their connection is what breaks it. um Through that issue they kept using verses from that song. And I had that issue because I knew that song and I liked it. So I really had some key issues and milestone issues, like when Storm had to go and fight what's the name for the Morlocks to get Angel.
Callisto.
Yeah, when she had to throw down with Callisto, I had that issue. You know, my mother and stepmother, boy, they cost me, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, thousands, maybe thousands, because some of the issues that you're naming, they're now going for like a couple $100. Others like the Gwen Stacy, if it was a 9.8, that could have been a couple of thousand by itself here.
I had that thing in
But I'm wondering if our
pristine
audience
condition.
wants to see. I wonder if our audience wants to see you plot and be like, hmm,
You
I need
do
to get in
not,
contact. I need to get in
don't.
contact with Beanie for I could be a part of Beanie Five because they up here trying to figure out how to break into the my vault of comics.
No, no, I wouldn't do that. That's
Yes, you would.
no, because y'all don't understand. I cannot afford to go to C2E2 on my own. Okay. I can't even afford Artist Alley. He gives me space at his booth for C2E2. And so I may threaten him on occasion. Yes, I know where he lives, but I'm not gonna break in his vault. So yeah, those sitting there thinking, "Ooh, let's go break and no, don't come ask me because I got a bad temper and a whole bunch of stabby crap up in here."
Yes, and
You
that's the
know,
reason why I have it locked away in a vault, because when she sees stuff like this that she already mentioned before,
why you doing this to me? Why you do this? See, he's instigating stuff. Do y'all not? I got
she
witnesses.
she
It's
she
on
realized what this
video.
is.
He is instigating stuff. Yes, I know what that is. Why you pushing me? Joseph,
I
put
put
that
it
away.
away.
Put that away now. Y'all are my witnesses. Whether you saw this live or watch this later, y'all are my witnesses. He was tempting me. He was tempting me. If he disappears,
See, I told you she's going to plot. I told you.
you
I
know,
told you.
y'all will know why. Because he was tempting me. Oh, oh. Courtney, get my stabby kit together.
She doesn't want to know the other one that I have.
Don't even. Why you do this? Why you do this? You just. I have not eaten.
I know you
I
haven't
am
eaten
tired.
everything.
I gotta get up early and go to the. I gotta get up early and brave Aldi with all the other old women who get their check on the first. I gotta go brave Aldi tomorrow.
Oh goodness! I just realized. Yeah, you gotta go brave Aldi, and not just the fact that it's the beginning of the month. It's a weekend on top of that.
Yes, free comic. This whole weekend, I got Aldi tomorrow. I got free comic book day Saturday. I got to go to Family Dollar on Sunday, and then I got to go to local market on Monday, and then Tuesday is Cinco de Mayo. I will. Nobody had even better think of knocking on my phone. I mean, knock on my phone. Yeah, my phone is like a door. You can knock on my phone. Oh, God. Oh,
We're gonna be knocking on her phone. Be like, knock, knock,
yeah.
knock. And she's be like, hello.
Don't call my door. Don't knock on my phone. Okay. Enough sleep. Get enough sleep. Oh, but I did get that. I not only did I get the Ivy and
I saw it.
Carly and Ivy piece done, but I got it framed and it's up on the wall.
Yay! I
I
saw that you got it done.
got it done, got it. I got it. I framed it and it is up on the wall.
She
So
posted it too. She's proud of it. That's what I'm trying to get her to be proud of her work, like the storm that she did. She's like, it's ugly. No, it's not.
it's just not. It was so much better because his is more comic book. He got it done in like a day. Actually, you got it done in a few hours. It took me days to get up because I'm like working it out, and then it's like,
That's what
oh,
makes
now I
yours
got to
more
do the
special. That's what
underpainting, and
that's what makes yours more special.
it took me 2 or 3 weeks.
Yours is more of a masterpiece. Mine is just more like, okay, here's a commission. Pay me. Maybe like $40 to $100. Yours be like, no, pay her thousands.
No, it's $45. And I'm thinking of switching my GoDaddy site over to commerce.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to add commerce to it. So that because Ingram Spark is like dealing with Ingram Spark is like taking a poker and getting it red hot and then shoving it up your butt continuously, thinking that eventually it won't hurt. You know,
If it's like, if the heat doesn't hurt you, if
if
the
the
heat
heat,
doesn't hurt you, the point won't.
yeah, if the heat don't kill me, I can handle the point. It's just, yeah. I I I was getting everything done, worked out the cover, and then I went to upload the PDF.
Hmm.
And it was like, you uploaded a PDF. It's like, yeah, because it was fun. When I was doing the cover, it said I could upload a JPEG or a PNG of the artwork for the front and back covers.
Hmm.
No, they want a PNG. They don't want a JPEG. They want a PNG. But instead of saying,
Just PNG. They just be nice.
they just say, oh, you can give us a JPEG or a PNG. And it's like, no. If you want a PNG, ask for the dang PNG. Most of us artists can't have some sort of program that we can turn our work into a PNG. You just gotta let us know. Okay?
Hmm.
Saying we'll accept this and you won't accept it, that's a lie. That's false advertising. So when you say I can upload a PDF of my comic book file, and then I upload the PDF, and it's like, no, 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 that's a PDF. Well, of course it's a PDF. Your site said I could upload the PDF. Don't tell me I can upload a PDF and then scream your head off when I uploaded PDF and then say I can't do the book. And I'm not going to give you my ISBN and all of that until I know I can get the book up there, because I don't know what you're going to do with my stuff. You might get up and sell my PDF, my ISBN,
Exactly. That's
and,
the.
and give you my barcode. And I have to, and I can't, when I set, and I had to learn how to do this because I couldn't find the emails at first that gave me the link for my barcode. So I had to sign in to Bowker and learn how to do the barcode. And it's like, well, if you don't set the price, and I can't set the price until, of course, the book is finalized at Ingram Spark, and they say, okay, this is how much it's going to cost
Cost you per unit for us
per
to.
unit, and also for somebody to buy it, if somebody wants to buy, because I was looking at Ingram Spark, because you can set up um, a little page. So if somebody wants to just buy 1 or 2 copies of your book, they can order it off your author's page on the platform, and they get it that way. But say if the guys at First Aid or Graham Cracker or something wanted 10, 20 copies, or maybe Barnes and Noble decides, or Quimby's decides they want to order copies, they can order those copies off the platform.
Hmm.
But you have to be able to set a price of that after they take off what the printing price is, and then what it costs to ship per unit. And make sure you get at least a couple of bucks afterwards. You have to give them a price, and you don't know, you with these sites, I don't care if it's Lulu or Ingram Spark or whoever, until you get all that worked out, what's the dimensions of the book, how many pages, how those pages needing to be printed, until you've actually run all that information through them, and they've got all the stuff to show this is what it is, then they can tell you this is what it costs per issue for us to do this and ship this out to you. Plus, on top of that, because we're handling this for you, we're going to take a little extra. We're going to take a little extra for us, because, they're not going to do this and not get anything out of it. So until you know all that, you can't set a price. And yeah, I can create a barcode that has 0.00 on it, but then things go out with that, then people start thinking maybe there's something fishy with your book.
Or if they don't value it, because why would it have $0 and 0 cents on it? That doesn't make any
Yeah, it doesn't, it devalues the book really fast. And they're not going to want to pay for it if they're looking at that barcode and they're saying, wait a minute, you said the list price is $20, but your barcode says,
Zero.
0.00. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to look fishy.
Mhm.
So you can't get one done until you got the other set. And I didn't go to Lulu because they wanted 30, they wouldn't let me do this for less than $32. They said, according to all our calculations and the size and everything and the amount of pages for this book, 66 pages for $32. It's like, no, I can get the 3-in-1 Lord of the Rings for that money, or just a few bucks over it. And that all three books in a 3-in-1. That's a
Mhm.
hell of a lot of pages. Okay. And I know it's not art, it's text for the most part, but you got maps and stuff. I got all my editions have the maps and stuff and Tangwar and all of that. So they wanted me to do it for $32. And I actually talked to people, a couple of whom bought copies of my comic from me.
Mhm.
Okay. And the consensus I was getting was, I'm not going to pay $32 for a book from someone I've never heard of. And so it's like, well, I can't take that. I can't, I just, that's too much of a headache. Lulu, I could have gotten everything uploaded, but the price would have been like,
You
it
couldn't make
wouldn't
any money. You have to sell. You have to sell way too many units to break even. Way too many.
provide it. And the thing though, it's not, if the buyers, the people, on the street don't want to pay $32 for it, even though for $32 that means all the charges, including Lulu's little bit, is about 26, 27 bucks, depending all at all. Barnes and Nobles is not, because it's like, how, we're not, they sell enough books to know we can't shift that. And I know that the local comic book shops are going to look at that as like, $32 for 66 pages. Really? No. I got, you know, I got copies of Mage that sell for less than that. You can get, as much as I hate him now, you can
Mhm.
get omnibus copies of Sandman for $20.
Yep.
So people say, "Oh, well, why is she bitching?" That's why, because someone is going to go, "Wait a minute, I can get an omnibus copy of Volume 1 of Sandman for $20, and here's somebody who's I don't know, and I'm gonna pay. I think you want me to pay $32 for her little 66 pages, and how many pages are in that Sandman omnibus one? No, it's not. It just the market will not bear it. Okay, the market will not bear it, and you can't price a book above what your market will bear.
That is true. That is true. They, like I said, it's other things that goes into that, like your fan base and all this other stuff. You have to have like very, 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 very rabid fans that will come out here, buy it, and
And at
then
first,
rant and rave on it so much that the $35 become a non issue.
a non-issue, but when it's a new writer nobody's heard of,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to build that fan base, that's not going to happen. You
Yeah,
know.
it's not like Bleeding Cool is coming out and Fire Lane stuff.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, my other thing is, because I am not going to let this book die. Um, I still have what, 10, 15 copies of the Blambot I mean the Blambot prints. So
The Kablam
the
ones.
Kablam, I'm sorry, yeah, Blambot is where I buy my fonts.
Fonts, right. I knew where
Dominatrix.
you was going. I knew where you was going. You
Dominatrix.
talked about Kablam, yeah.
Dominatrix is, chef's kiss font. But I still got like 15 copies of those. And it's like, well, I could take them. to first aid for a signing.
Mm-hmm.
And then depending on how well the signing went, to decide. But it's like I need to have something in place before that. So if I can't get things working with Ingram Spark, because I emailed them, I sent them a help request, and that was Saturday. And all I got was what was it, Saturday? They sent back, oh, okay, we'll have somebody get back to you as soon as possible.
And now
I had
you're like twiddling your thumbs like this, and you hear nothing but crickets.
crickets. So it's like, you know what? I think what I might do is just snatch myself off there and have what I'll do is when I've got this lot sold, I will set up an account, excuse me, at Comics Wellspring,
Mm-hmm.
because it won't cost me anything to keep an active account there,
Right.
and just order, I'll send them the final copy with the $20, because I know they can do it for that price.
Right.
And I'll order a couple of test copies just to make sure everything's okay. And I will have to just for the moment sell it from the site, and then let people know, because Comics Wellspring, if I got, if 5 stores asked me for 10 to 20 copies each, I could go to Comics Wellspring and give them an order of 50 to 100 copies, and they could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think for now, I'm just going to have to do it that way. Sell what I've got, either it's signing and put them on and set up a commerce section on the site. So if people want the book, they can order it there. I also have, I still have posters that we made that didn't all get sold. So I might sell what's left of my posters and the books there, because I know I can go to, luckily I can go to Kinko's. Kinko's is
Yeah,
I
to make more and everything
and
here.
Kinko's will print for me. Now that that we worked out how to get the emails to them, they will print for me. Um, and I can sell those for 10 plus shipping. Um, because they'll print for me at at a price that will make that I can keep that price down. So it's not too costly for those posters. Those they're 11 by 17. And next week I will pop them up real quick for those to see, if they or I'll let Joe pop them up on screen for those to see it. um but yeah, now you've seen what it's like when you're trying to get your book out there, and Image and Marvel and them guys are looking at you like, what?
Mm-hmm.
This is what it's
Again,
like
it's
when
like
you're an
I wanted a
independent.
few people. I wanted a few people that had actual senior marketers from Marvel take your book back to their home front,
He
just
left.
because they were up here curious, and you don't hear nothing back.
Hey, at least they took your book. Now senior marketers from Marvel don't even come to these. They don't even come to these events and understand
Well, put it
this
this
is
way: they don't have, unless you're going to like a New York or Diego.
San Diego or
They
London.
don't have booths anymore. They don't do booths. They don't do all the other stuff that they used to. I know the few times that I've been to San Diego, they used to do like portfolio reviews, and people would get like hired on the spot,
I
or
would
at least,
I
or at least
hear
opportunity to get hired for projects.
I would hear those stories. Oh yeah, I was at this event and so was sitting there, and I took my review, and they said come back at X amount of time, and that way they would have had a chance to sign autographs for whoever else was there waiting to talk with them, and then will have looked over your portfolio, would make time after so much time to sit down and look over it with you. And I had been to a couple of early cons where I'd seen people do that. they would go to
Well,
somebody and say,
San,
"Here's what I have."
San
And
Diego has like a dedicated floor where that stuff used to happen. I haven't been there within like the last I would say 10 years, but the last few times I've been there, they had like one dedicated floor where they is like it was by appointment. It was by appointment by particular editors for
uh,
all these different companies, and it's like if you had an appointment, you go up onto this floor, and they had it on the same floor where they had like all of the signings, like the some of like the more major comic book people or the more major uh, celebrities, all on that same floor, and they had like actual set up like booths. It's like it actually had walls and stuff. It wasn't like always curtain, and sometimes it was like hard walls and stuff where you could actually have the review and everything. You could hear one another and yada yada yada.
okay.
And then you also have panels where you could actually have like one-on-one conversations with a lot of these marketers and stuff to that magnitude. That was one of the reasons why I used to love going to San Diego, because to me it was more of a learning experience because I was meeting with these people, having those face-to-face conversations and learning.
Oh, okay. I like I said,
It's probably
and
one of the reasons why I still maintain my voting for Eisner's, because I've been doing that. I have been doing those shows back
well,
then.
like I said, way back in the day, this was when Joe Duffy was editing the Star Wars books for Marvel.
Hmm.
You could go and there would be booths and you would go and they would be standing there and you could introduce yours. Hi, I'm so and so, and they would say, "Oh, hi, I'm," and you could have a conversation. Depending, I was the only person that talking to Joe Duffy that day. Um, so you could walk up and talk to them and go, because she was standing at this thing and said Joe Duffy. It's like, "Ooh, that's a nice name. What do you do?" And so we got into discussions and I had read some of those books, so we were talking about them. It was really cool. um but yeah, it's a different world. Than the cons were smaller, they were much more informal. um and back then, half the con, if not two-thirds of it, depending on who was running it, was comic books. You know, you had comics, you had rooms where the your key speakers would be doing their things at particular times of the day, you know. Um, And then you had the infamous dealer room, as they used to say on the commercials. Because I guess the dealers were horrific people. Thing is, I went in the old days, and it's not like they were running up and grabbing you and going, "I will stop you, don't buy from me." It's
It's not like you walked up in there. It's like, ooh, this is a nice copy of this. Give me $7,000.
time it was, you walk up and it's like, and if you look too interested, and then if you didn't say something, it's like, "Look, kid, either you're buying the book or you're moving." So it was, they would actually tell you to get the hell out of my stall. So it was a different energy back then.
And those were those. I still remember a few shows that were like that back in the early '90s.
I used
Because
to freak
when
us
I
out.
first started, when I first started going to shows like that, that was towards like the beginnings of the '90s, late '80s, till in the '90s, no, but late '80s, no, yeah, late '80s, early '90s. I'm thinking tail in the '80s, beginning of the '90s, yeah, right
And
around there.
back then the audiences was split between two groups, because the girls were usually interested in going to hear the guest talk guys from Blake 7 or the Star Trek crew, or if you could get them here, the Red Dwarf guys, you know somebody from Doctor Who. I actually got to meet Tom Baker. Got to go to a breakfast where they had a breakfast with the doctor, and I didn't get to sit at his table. A family who brought their kid got him at their table, but we were at the table that was just across from them, and I ran into some people who actually knew him, and so I got to hang out, and then caught John Pertwee at the water tower place the day after. And I almost killed a whole bunch of people on an
I,
escalator
I
just
still
to get to
I
him.
still pictured the Elaine, get out me way.
Move! Get out the way! Get out the way!
It's like people have to understand. It's like Elaine is not that tall of a woman, so hard to go get out me way. You got to get out her way because she's gonna bulldoze her way. Like throw them bull. She's gonna be throw them bull.
It's like some not old comedy where you just see this little black blur going up a down escalator, and folks just like, whoop! Went up in the air. And I was determined to get up there, and then got up there out of breath, looking at them eyes, going, "Speak, speak, say something." Luckily it was, how's your wife?
Uh-huh.
As opposed to, what I did to poor Douglas Adams when I was pregnant with Charles. Went to a signing and heaved my big old pregnant butt on the table of where he was and said he was the hoopiest fruit I ever knew. And did he want me to sass him? Those of you who read any of the Hitchhiker's book, you know what sassing a hoopy fruit is. Okay. So imagine this little short pregnant woman, whole bunch of belly, holding herself up on your table, going, "Want me to sass you?" He turned beet red. It was adorable.
See,
I can
now
shock
you're
an
making me think
Englishman.
about all the good things that happen with what you know as Chicago Comic Con, but what I know was actually what happened after it changed into Wizard World.
Oh, okay. See,
Because Chicago Comic Con, Chicago Comic Con was great. When they first changed from Chicago Comic Con to Wizard, it was still great. It wasn't until maybe like 5, 6 years in where everything went downhill. Especially, I will say like 95 when 95, I think it was 95 when Marvel and DC decided to pull out of that show. The
wow.
years after was just like, I don't know. I just don't know what to make of it.
Which is sad because, like I said, I was from the early days of the cons, not as early as B. Joe Trimble and those guys. I
Hmm.
was like a couple of generations right after them because they were when the cons didn't exist until Star Trek became a thing. And then after Star Trek went off the air, they started doing all these fan conventions and getting them to go. But we're talking you're talking the 80s, yeah, because
Hmm.
80s, early 90s, because
Hmm.
the year I met Tom Baker, I had borrowed my sister was going to Whitney Young, so I borrowed her jacket, and it said Lisa, but it said Whitney Young High School, and he was kissing everybody but me, and it's like, oh. And afterwards I realized I had a jacket on that said Whitney Young High School. He
Hmm.
was not going to get arrested for
Right,
snooping.
because he thought you was a high school girl.
He thought I was a high school girl named Lisa because I had my sister's jacket on. Because, sometimes you're just crazy in the head. What can I say? Um,
No, but you had the high end bill to pass for a high school kid.
yeah, I did. I did. But because I also wasn't wearing a lot of makeup at that time as well. Um, but it was a different world, and you didn't have to pay $250 just to get an autograph. I got an autograph picture of Michelle. um I bought the headshot for $10 and she autographed it for free. I wish I still had that one, but that was, you would go online and there'd be people there with the headshots,
Hmm.
and they'd go, okay, and they'd say the headshot was $10. It's like, here's $10, and they give you the headshot, and you go, oh, you bought the headshot, and they'd sign it.
Hmm. That's
You
that's
know,
that's what it be like here.
now
I
it's
like I like my stupid self. You want to know what I did?
what did you do?
I kind of I don't regret it, but I kind of regret it. I don't regret it because I was able to talk to said individual for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
However, what I do regret is that I have no proof that I actually met said individual because I didn't pay to get in any line, and didn't pay for any headshots or anything to that magnitude to have like an autograph.
Oh, see,
Do you
I
know? Do you know who I actually met?
was it Star Trek related?
No, but it is a very famous person, a very famous female.
Eartha Kitt?
No,
Well,
close,
she's a
but
very famous female. Julie
close, but
Newmar?
not. Huh?
Julie Newmar?
Nope, not Julie Newmar. You're
Michelle?
warm. You're
Michelle?
warm. You're warm. You're warm, but not close.
There are like how many famous women in Hollywood? You got
Pam
narrowed.
Greer.
You could have just said Foxy Brown and that would have gotten it,
I would have said Foxy Brown. I would have said coffee.
Scream Blackula, or Blackula, and
I
I'd
would have
have
said
gotten that.
coffee. Or
Well,
or the star of the what was it called? The Big Bird Cage.
the Big Bird Cage, Coffee. What is it? Foxy Brown. No, was it Foxy Brown? What's the one
Yeah,
that she?
Foxy Brown. Yeah, Foxy Brown.
But no, the one she did with Tarantino.
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown. That's right, because he'd seen all those movies and was in
Or
love with
I
her
remember her
and
best.
wanted to work with
One of
her.
the best Amanda Wallers that have ever played Amanda Waller in Smallville.
Oh, that's right. She was in Smallville.
She
Was
played
Amanda
Amanda
Waller.
Waller in Smallville.
I've
And it's like you
forgotten her.
see her playing Amanda Waller. It's like, yeah. It wasn't until we got the Suicide Squad movie that we got a comparable Amanda Waller. It's like,
You, you know who her cousin was, right?
mm-mm.
Her cousin, at the time when she started, her cousin was more famous than she was.
Who?
Rosie Greer. It was a football player.
Oh, okay. The football
When
player.
when
Yeah.
she started out, she had to spend the first 15 minutes of every interview. What's it like being Rosie Greer's cousin? Or your cousin's Rosie Greer?
How does it feel to be associated with a famous movie star who was a part of the greatest movie of all time, The Man with Two Heads? People laugh about that movie, but it's like it was kind of groundbreaking for his career, though.
It was kind of groundbreaking, period, considering what they were trying to do
Mm-hmm.
and the social commentary of it. So it was a risky move. That movie was a risky move, and for a long time it was an underground hit.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like it was Rocky Horror. It was that generation's Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yep.
Because they played it all over CBS late night. They couldn't play it they couldn't play it during prime time, but they could play it on CBS late night, which is how I saw that. It's how I saw Easy Rider. It's it's like a whole bunch of movies that I wasn't supposed to see.
Because back then it's like the censors, or I should say the FCC, was a little bit more relaxed after 11 p.m.
After 10:30.
Yeah.
Because that's when the movie would because Joey Bishop was off. Joey Bishop was no longer had his show by that time, and they needed something to fill his slot. And so they started doing the CBS late night movie after the news. Um, so I got to see a whole bunch of movies because my mother, the TV was right across from our bedroom. And so long as I didn't make any noise where she knew I was awake, I would just lay down, watch all these movies.
You just hope that there was no type of comedy, because if it was a comedy that she was watching,
No,
that would be
no.
your rear.
Oh my goodness. Nah. See, that's when you learn to pull the blanket over your head, you know? You pull the
She learned
blanket
how
over
to
your head,
how not to self suffocate.
bury your head in your pillow. But yeah, you couldn't I wouldn't watch if she was watching a comedy because I knew I would laugh, I just wouldn't watch it. I would let my sister sleep in the front of the bed and I'd stay at the back. And that way, I wasn't gonna get killed. But there were a lot of movies that I got to see that way because she didn't. It was she thought I was asleep or I was quiet enough where she didn't care, so I could watch. I got to watch movies I really wasn't supposed to see. But yeah, like I said. I remember um, because they used to have just like they had what was it, Tiger Beat, and she actually got covered by because Tiger Beat, there were two of them. There was Tiger Beat and I forget what the other one. Then there was one specifically for black entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Jackson Five, she was one of those few entertainers who got into Tiger Beat because Tiger Beat was that middle school to high school. And she got into Tiger Beat. The Jacksons were, the Jacksons and if they couldn't get the Osmonds, they'd do the Jacksons.
Mm-hmm.
That was how Tiger Beat ran. She got into Tiger Beat. Um, they also had the black equivalent, and I can't remember the name of that. It's not Ebony. Um,
What, Jet?
no, Jet and Ebony were the
Johnson
Johnsons.
Publications. Yes, that was
Johnson
correct.
Publications. This was, like I said, this was a cheaper. It was printed on the inside. They had glossy covers, but the inside was newsprint. When they first started, they were new. They had a lot of. They would have so many pictures in there. Like they might include a couple of glossy pics of like David Cassidy or Donny Osmond or Michael Jackson or something like that. Um, they might have a couple of those, but most of those pages were newsprint,
Mm-hmm.
which is how they kept the price down. And a lot of the pages in there were black and white, but it was Tiger Beat and I forget what the other one was were successful enough that they started a black version, and then you would see like the Jacksons and
Why am I thinking something like Right On?
Right On. That's what it was called, Right On, or something clear
I
to that.
remember.
But
I
you
barely
had
remember that. I was like, I don't remember Tiger Beat, but I remember Right On.
and you would have, and they were like that equivalent for black kids, because if I got Tiger Beat, I would catch hell for it. Oh, you're reading Tiger Beat. You think you white? You're reading Tiger Beat. It's like,
You're
okay,
not going to make me look this up. 'Cause I remember. I remember Right On. I don't. I know of Tiger Beat. I don't remember reading it ever, but I know I have seen Right On.
that when I graduated to the Rolling Stone magazine, I was like, oh, I left all that behind once I got my hand on Rolling Stone. Yeah, baby, this is where it's at.
Yep, that's. This is what I remember here. Good old Wikipedia. This is what I actually remember. We'll go here.
That's it because they had
I remember Tiger Beat had similar writing, but I remember this because more people in my neck of the woods had this magazine more than Tiger Beat.
And I think I think the law firm company did both Tiger Beat and them.
Okay, now I gotta go back to Tiger Beat. Hold on,
I'm trying to think,
because
but
to me, Tiger Beat was just a weird name for a magazine, but I get it. It's supposed to be for younger.
it's supposed to be for teenage girls, so
Yeah,
middle
and yep,
school
it
and
was the
older.
same
I
people.
thought it was
Tiger Beat was 1965. Right On was 71.
yeah, because that's when they finally realized, oh, there's a black audience for this,
Yep,
you know.
yep.
Yeah, so
Founded
Tiger
by
Beat,
Charles Laffer and
Ira.
Yep.
But yeah, Tiger Beat. Um, and then for fashion, everybody read, I think it was 16 magazine.
Yep, I believe so.
16 magazine was the girls' version of Vogue. It was 16 was like the teenage was like Vogue for teenagers.
Hmm.
So there was makeup, fashion, articles about, the short stories, articles and stuff like that. Phoebe Cates actually came to prominence. She was one of 16's she was one of their top models. I think for at least there was a good 6 or 7 years where there wasn't an issue of 16 magazine that didn't have Phoebe Cates in it. You know? And because she had been in 16 magazine, she then she had smart people
Wait, that was
around
Phoebe
her.
Case before Gremlins, right?
This was Phoebe Cates before Gremlin, which is how she got Gremlins because she was known as a teen model. And her agency, as she was aging out of 16 magazine, because she had that cute look for quite a while. Understand? I think she was in her 20s by the time she got the first Gremlins. And she had started taking, her people were like, you need to start taking acting classes because you're not going to be 15 forever. And she got Gremlin. She got a couple of other movies, and then she married what's his name, who was in Silverado. He was in Silverado, and he was also in that one where they all go for the funeral. And he's married to Glenn Close, and she gets him to have sex with their best friend, and I can't remember the name of the movie because I'm old. I can tell you what happened in that movie, but I can't remember the title. And I'm not even evil enough to try to describe this movie and make Courtney look it up for me. That, and I don't have anything particularly heavy I can lob at her and crack her in the back of the head without without
Uh,
causing injury.
no, that's what I say. It's like,
You just
that's like, do we
turn
want to
the
go?
camera
Do we
around so you
really
can
want to
see her
go there
face.
right
The
now?
look on her face was like, bitch, really? She just
We don't
turned
want to
around.
go there right now because I don't want to put it out there, but there were certain things that you said that I was like, you know what, I just gotta respect it because Courtney is just that fragile.
No, she's not fragile, but somebody crack you in the back of the head with something heavy, you gonna be hurt. And the only things I have that I
Just
can
like,
throw that
oh
would
yeah,
reach that
they're
far.
40 mile per hour winds. Courtney's gonna fly up into the air. It's like
Well,
that's like this woman is not that fragile. I'm sorry.
she's shorter than me. I can lift her up. I can actually get her off the floor
But you
if she's
have
not
marine strength.
if she's not fighting back. I can do it if she's fighting back. It just takes a little more effort, you know. I can turn the camera around, pick her up so you can see. Of course, she may no, she's shaking her head like, "Don't you dare." It's just like, I'm closer to the stabby than you are. Don't you dare. So I walked her through the house. She knows where all the good stabby stuff is in case I'm not here and, some mad.
See that's the reason why most people leave her alone. She's a you in training. I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to make you laugh with that one.
Joe just said you're a me in training. I don't know if you heard her get up that giggle.
Yes.
I just, I want her to be safe. Some,
Mhm.
zombie killer wombats come breaking down the door. She's got to be able to protect herself. Don't you want your mama and sister to be able to fight off the zombie killer wombats?
Yes, but the way that you frame it, as long as there's not like no 40-mile-per-hour winds outside, and it's sunny, or the moon is shining awfully bright, she will be okay. If there's any other conditions, like, oh, it's snowing outside, oh, I got to be around. She can't defend herself. Snow's going to hurt.
She's small. She's small. You seen Courtney? She's small. She's slender.
Yeah.
She needs protecting.
She's like Rowan. The only thing that I know that is really accurate about your description, she is Roanoa Zolo. She has no concept of direction. You can tell her that. You can tell her I said that. And she will agree. She is like Roanoa Zolo. She just has no concept of direction.
Joe says you have no concept of direction. You want to come over here and flip your finger at him?
He's actually not wrong with the direction.
I don't know if you heard her.
Yep.
She said you're not wrong. One of these days, I'm going to drag her in front of the camera so people can see her. Be ready. Just, sorry.
See, tell her tonight I'm not going to keep you away from your guy's show unless it's on hiatus again.
He said he's not going to keep me away from. No, actually, they're not on hiatus. There's a show tonight, but I will not get to it right away because Charles made dinner, and when we're done, I have to do all the dishes because if I don't do all the dishes, the mice come into my kitchen and they poop on my countertop.
That's not good.
No. And then I have to disinfect the countertop. So the only way to keep them from pooping on the countertop is to make sure all the dishes are clean. Then, instead of pooping on the countertop, they go into Charles's room and they find something to chew on. There's a little mouse. And he has an interest in Charles. He finds something to chew on that's noisy. Charles stomps at him. He looks at Charles like, He leaves that alone. He finds something else to chew on that's noisier.
See,
you at least a good 45 minutes until the mouse decides he's had enough and he leaves.
See, that you need to get that on camera. And then what you have there is the brand new Tom and Jerry.
We don't have any cats. That's
what Charles is. Charles is the cat.
Oh, okay. Because what it is they have little barky dogs downstairs. So they won't be where the barky dogs are. They come up here.
Mm-hmm. And they mess with Charles like he's Tom Cat. And you got a whole new TV series.
Thing
Charles and Jerry.
I have to be careful how I catch them because John loves animals.
Mm-hmm.
And the classic mousetrap
will crush their head.
If you're lucky, more often than not, it's not immediate.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear a snap and that just For John, that's like nails on a chalkboard. He can't deal with that. So I have to buy what's called the glue trap,
Yeah.
and they
So
get caught.
he could deal with the stink. He could deal with the stink if one gets caught.
Well, we get up when I've got to get more glue traps. When we get them, we make mark a note of where they all are,
Uh-huh.
and then every day we get up and we check,
Uh-huh.
so that we don't have a decomposing mouse. Or like last year where the heat got so bad, poor little mouse went under the dining table and died. And I was the only one who noticed the poor. It had to have died in the night, but I we were making something, and I just happened to look. Something said, "Look down," and there's a little mouse under the table, dead. It's like he got all the way up there just to conk out and die. you know, Mine is the house where nature comes to die. I'm an evil person. My evil just kills. My evil kills poor nature. You know. Don't send things over here though in the hopes that my evil will kill them, because then it'll have. If you do it intentionally, they'll just soak up my evil and come back at you, and then you will know what suffering is.
Now, just to switch gears a tad bit here, because we did have the comics and wrestling. And
Oh
the
no,
only reason I came up with that is because guess what I ended up watching over the last week or so?
wrestling.
No, not wrestling. I ended up watching a documentary about Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay.
And
Go ahead.
I sat back and I watched it, and I watched it with a grain of salt here because this was like one of the things I can say about Netflix. They have a way to do these interviews before these people die or get disgraced that paints a picture that kind of makes you go like, you know what? Public opinion needs to hear some of this stuff first before they really form their I really hate this guy or I really like this guy. Because a lot of times you should be like right there in the middle. It should be in the middle because like there's some things that was in that documentary that was like, yeah, you got what you deserve, and then there's other things that I was like, wow, if I would have known that, I would have known, to react a little bit differently. He went
Well,
off his rocker towards to tell of his
I was
life.
about to say, when you standing there and you can just barely tear off a tearaway T-shirt. Okay, I saw that footage. She could just barely. It was like, dude, it's a good thing that's a tearaway T-shirt and not a paper bag, because you would be punching and you'd still be stuck in there.
Mhm.
When you can't even tear off a tearaway T-shirt and you're struggling. It's like, Grandpa, go home, take your medicine, sit down and STFU. Okay. Um, I, it, Figure it out if y'all didn't get that. I just, it's like there are those who get past it,
Mhm.
and you should realize, you know what? I'm past it. Let me walk my butt. Let me take take what I have left of my life and be quiet, and so when I die, people will remember me as this. But when you get up and you do stuff that says, "Hey, remember all of this that I did?" and you whip it out and okay.
That's what he literally did towards the tail end of
And
his life. But
yeah, and my attitude is
it
like,
happened in a way that most people did not expect to. And you know how great success can cause a lot of people to fall very, very hard.
yeah,
That would happen to him because his wrestling career should have ended in the 80s.
yeah,
It was over.
yeah.
It began in the 90s. It was over. It should have been over. But what ended up happening is that when it's like he had his career, he had his movies and everything. he went away. He went away. He went away and everything, and he comes back, and this is after the whole thing with losing the belt to Ultimate Warrior and everything. He comes back because Ultimate Warrior could not hold the company and everything. Technically, he wanted to, he was in the spot where he could have retired and just been happy.
He could
But
retire.
he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy with doing the TV shows. He wasn't happy doing movies. He wanted to get back into the ring.
He could have
So,
spent the rest of his life doing 5-minute guest spots, picking up his check, and going home.
but
Okay.
nope.
He was past it.
Mm.
Okay. I'm sorry. He was wrestling fans. I know you sitting there going, come at me. Because he was past it. I am not. He was past it. And when you're past it, okay, there's a point where it's like these He-Man action movie stars. The smart ones like Schwarzenegger, like Kurt Russell, Rocky. Why can't I remember Sylvester? Sylvester Stallone. They get to a point where they realize the movies have changed from when I was making them at my peak. They have changed. What's required of you has changed. Just case in point. And I don't know how much longer she can do this. Charlize Theron just did a thing in New York where they put a climbing wall that she had a harness, but they had her climbing a climbing wall. The climbing wall had to be about 15, 20 feet. They made it look like she was climbing up the side of a cliff. So there were handholds, but you could see she had to work she got up that wall. They didn't have to haul her up. She got up that wall on her own steam. But I'm watching her going, girlfriend, you got maybe another 5 or 10 years, depending on how you keep your health up. And then you're not going to be able to do this anymore.
You can't do action. You're going to have to go and figure out how to do drama. You have to give up the action stuff.
You're going to have to let this go. Now, I've seen her in enough drama stuff to know that she's not bad. She can carry, she may not carry an entire film on herself. Yeah, okay, Aeon Flux. Yeah, I know.
That's not even a movie. That's like the Aeon Flux, the movie was only a movie in the last 10 minutes of it. But we actually saw the real Trevor Goodchild.
But you get what I'm saying. She, she's one of those people with the right team. She's a lot like Dolly Parton as an actress. With the right team, she's golden. When she doesn't have the right team, it shows.
Same thing with Milia Djokovic.
Because I watched Monster Hunter because my oldest loves the Monster Hunter game, plays it. And I said, are you planning to go see Monster Hunter? And he just looked at me like, you want me to just, cut off a scrotum or something? That would be more fun. It was like, dang. So out of curiosity, a couple of weeks ago, I sat down and watched Monster Hunter because I liked her in the Resident Evil film. She was fun.
That was Milia in Resident
Mila
Evil.
Jovovich.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
So she was fun. But this Monster Hunter thing had nothing to do with the game.
Nope.
If y'all don't watch this movie thinking that's the game, because it's not. With the story of this movie and the story of the game, it's two different worlds altogether. The only thing that they have in common is the title. It's one of those. And we all know what happens when you have a movie based on an IP and all you use is the title. You usually get a steaming pile of poo. And
there was a lot of movies that did that.
And basically there were a couple of little moments that were fun, but for the most part, because it didn't make sense
Hmm.
and the way they did it, it was a steaming pile of poop.
I agree.
And I thought it was a huge disservice for her to do it. I think it's one of those things. And I get it. They waved some money under her nose, and she was like, "Oh, you waved money under my nose. I'm not going to care what I'm doing. I'm just going to get up, say the lines, make the moves, make sure my stunt girls are doing their job, and then, um, I collect my paycheck. The end."
Well, I can't find it offhand in my DVD shelves here, but I was looking for Ultraviolet. That was another movie that
Now,
after seeing
Ultraviolet, I had fun with.
after seeing all the Resident Evil, was like, oh, this is going to be pretty good. She going to take over another franchise, and the movie was meh.
I had
Well,
never
it
read,
wasn't
I
her.
had never read the comic, so I
No,
was okay with the movie because I'd never read it, I think there was a comic or something it was based on, some sort of IP game.
mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
No, it was supposed to be a different franchise. They was going to build a franchise around her,
Around her, yeah. It
and
wasn't.
it was started with Ultraviolet, and it just goes to show you that it's like she has to be around a particular type of team to make her look great. It
The
wasn't
scene,
because of bad acting, it was just poor story. The story was
yeah,
just ugh.
and because the scene she does when you see the flashbacks about her kid, when you see the scenes, and I can't remember this actor's name, and it's so funny because I had the hots for him for a while. Um, the guy who plays Garth in the movie, the when it looks like she's going to die, and
Mhm.
he comes and gets her, she's
Right.
the one, you got all my guns. Um, I thought their scenes, because he's a good actor, and he operates at a level where it kind of brings her up because she has to. Her and the kid, and her and him, they kind of brought her up a bit. But it's like you said, she needed a better team. She needed a better story, And I was there basically. I liked the flaming sword fight.
Mhm.
The flaming sword. Some of the fight scenes were fun because she knew her way around the fight scene. But and when there were days, you'd have that afternoon when kids are off, kids are doing their own thing. Nobody really needs you. I've done the dishes and mopped the floor. It's like, oh, ultraviolet's on. Okay.
Yeah, and it was just
It's sort of that sort of movie. It's not like I'm seeking it out, but it's like, oh, okay, there's nothing
I
on.
looked at it as like, oh, cool, a futuristic spy movie. I kind of like that. Kind of like a sci-fi spy movie. I could get into, I could get behind that, and then it's like so disappointing.
I kept thinking if they should have played up, because it's like, okay, they're supposed to be vampires,
Hmm.
and they had homeboy, they gave him the fangs, she didn't have the fangs. It's like, if she's gonna be they're not
They
vampires.
wasn't sure what she was going to be.
And,
That was the thing. She was a hybrid where they did not know which side of the fence that she was
but
going to
even the
be on.
guys but even the guys who were on her side weren't
Because they didn't
vampires.
trust her. It's like, we don't know if you're one of us truly because you're your bloodline. It's like, stop, stop worrying about the bloodline. Stop
But
that.
it like
This is not this is not underworld. I'm sorry. It's not
like I said,
underworld.
it was I have watched that movie several times and thought, you know what? I could see where they were going for, but the writer in me goes, the idea, it's not the problem, isn't the idea. The problem is the execution.
Hmm.
And you guys kind of, there were so many places where they just dropped the ball because, ooh, if she does this and goes here and then this happens, we'll have a great fight scene. It's like, yeah, but that's just
It makes
a
no
great.
sense for her to be in that fight scene if the true struggle is she doesn't know which side of the fence she's really going to be on.
She doesn't know, and is she gonna live? Is she not gonna live? And what are they, it's like, is she going to save her, are they going to survive, blah blah blah. There's just so much in it that it was like, okay, you guys really needed to work on this backstory. You kind of get, okay, here's kind of a backstory idea with a bunch of fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that part where it's like, okay, if you'd have tightened up that backstory and then added the fight scenes in the way that they made more sense, you'd have had a better film. It might not have been Sinners,
Well,
but you had
again,
a better
there's
film.
two things. There's two things for that now that you mentioned it would have made it a better movie. One, she should have never met the big bad at the end of this movie. Your franchise
She
was
already
killed
took out
because of that.
she already takes out the big bad. It's like, okay, she could have taken out whoever was next to him, or you could have suggested that he was just the big bad for this level, and then shown us that there was something behind him
Behind,
for
but
her to go up against. But you don't. You have her go against, because that's why I've had people say, well, that's supposed to be serious. It's like, no, she took out the big baddie in the first film. Where the hell else you gonna go?
again, no development of the backstory because from what they did for the backstory, that was her big bad. That was the for her
That
to know who she was supposed to be. Defeating him solves that question instead
and
of
there
just
was
saying it's like, oh, she believes that this is the big bad, but there's something more sinister behind it.
and you have to put that out you have to in the movie, and you also have to thread it in something so that you're suggesting that he's not the end all and be all of whatever is driving this, so that when she does take him out, you realize, okay, there's another step in this. It's like, but unfortunately, the guys who wrote like The Mandalorian and whatnot were not working on that movie at that time,
Nope.
because they were still trying to figure out, what's a
That
stiffy. So
that 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 what makes Resident Evil, even though I don't really care too much for the series, because to me the movie series did not do much, did not hold kind of true to the video game the way
I
I would
watch
like
the
to.
animateds more than I tend to watch. If unless there is like absolutely nothing else to watch.
Mhm.
And nowadays I don't have that problem, because I know if it's late night, I can't sleep and there's nothing else. I've got vampire, I can find the Vampire Hunter D, I can find Helsing Ultimate Abridged, I can find Helsing Ultimate, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I've got at least fit. I've got seasons of Castlevania. I
Mhm.
got stuff I could go to. You
It's
know?
like Resident Evil, the live action movie series. After the first movie, and people was up here, was like, "Oh man, it was a great movie." It's like, and I was sitting up there, it's like, do you guys realize that there's problems with this movie? And everybody else was like, "No, it was great. It was great. It was great." It's like, have you guys played the video games? Because they combine the first two video games in this one movie, and it makes no sense now.
I had never played
It
the
makes
game.
no sense.
So for me, it was like, okay, it was a fun movie. Zombies, got it.
No, it was
Chickens.
fun. It was fun, and the whole
It,
thing with Alice, it made the intrigue about what is Umbrella now. Why did Alice escape? Why did you lock down this facility? And then, what's her name, Miss Rodriguez, really
yeah.
stole the show,
Oh,
almost
I'm not.
doing the exact same thing that Alice accomplished.
I can never meet that girl because I swear I'm a French kisser. Just
See,
I'm a French kisser.
I see her in this movie. Then I see what she does for Fast and the Furious franchise. I'm like,
She she can't act, but like I said, it's I've seen her in enough things. I loved her in a D&D film.
mm-hmm.
I was like, girlfriend, you make me wish I was born the other gender. Cause woo. Um, and I loved her in that movie. I Because also she got to be more than just the hitter in that movie. She gets to They give her some range.
they
she
made
cares.
her the intelligent fighter, and
Yes.
that would makes her role in D&D so powerful. It was just like everybody thinks like, oh, there's certain classes that just it should be done. It's like, no, she was the intelligent fighter, and she made the rogue look stupid all the time. All the
Oh,
time. If you give her that opening, she will make the rogue look stupid because the rogue is like, "Oh, I'm the smartest guy in the room," and this, that, and the other, and she's like,
uh-huh.
"Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Like,
right."
but that's something I have come to expect from her when
Mhm.
she does the role, which was why the last live action Resident Evil movie, when they were bringing everybody back, and
Wait,
you
that was the
know,
one where they showed that Umbrella
she
had
played two different
a
versions,
whole bunch of Alice's in waiting.
and no, that was the one after that. There's one
Okay.
after that because they go back. They have these things where they not only had a whole bunch of Alice's, and they were training their new zombies on the Alice's. They would wake up an Allison and put her. They would run her through the simulation to see how long it would take before a zombie could take her out. And that one, this was one where they not only had Alice, they had Michelle Rodriguez's character, and you had several different versions
Hmm.
of these characters. And I just, it was like they so misused
See,
her.
I
They
have to
so
go back because I
misused her.
haven't watched the very last movies of the Resident Evil franchise because I
The
remember
last one,
Alice
hold
finally
it,
got to Umbrella and she found out there that they have cloned her indefinitely.
and there's this one, she actually breaks into Umbrella. She's got guys to help her,
Uh-huh.
and because it's like an Umbrella zombie training facility because they start back. Remember the one that opens, the second one opens with the girl in Japan.
Right, that was the second one.
They have simulations for all the other movies. So they had a Tokyo simulation, they had the
Well,
Russia simulation.
the Tokyo one was them trying to figure out why could Alice escape this? Why could Alice
This
escape this simulation the way that she did? That was the
and
one I remember. That was the one in Tokyo. Then the
no,
third one, they
there's
actually did Raccoon City.
this one had this super huge facility, and they were running these Alice's through this program, except in the program she's not Alice, she's somebody with a husband and a child. And it's a whole thing. And they had a couple of clones. They had the clone of Michelle Rodriguez, who was fighting for Umbrella, and then they had a clone of Michelle Rodriguez who was just an everyday person on this street that Alice lived with her family.
Now, see, now I would have been confused because
We
I would have been done after everything that happened
I
between
will
3 and 4.
I will find the movie. I will have Charles set it up and we can take an afternoon and watch it together
Mhm.
and just crack up and talk crap about it.
Yeah,
Um
I still remember Mike Epps' dumb self in what Resident Evil 4. I forgot what 4
naked
was.
zombie chicks, that naked zombie chicks, that was like I was rooting for the Russian guys.
Because it's like he
I
was
was
first
rooting for the
he was
Russian
first in
guys.
it in 3. He was first in it in 3 because with 3 we finally got to Nemesis and
Yes.
they made Nemesis weak.
And
Stars.
yes, yes. And because that's the one
I'm
where
not
he
starting. I'm
almost
not starting. Nemesis looked at us like
because he also dropped his
and walked
gun.
away. And he was like, and Mike was like,
He also
because he was not in uniform. He did not have a Stars uniform on. That's the only reason why Nemesis
no,
left him
no,
alone.
no. In that one, he wasn't Stars. He was
Nope.
some street guy they just grabbed. So he wasn't even part of that in the movie. And he almost got ate by because he saw the two naked chicks and didn't realize he was about to pull over and then realized almost too late that they were zombies.
Mm-hmm.
But
And wasn't until the fourth one, the movie after that, that he actually got, I think he got gashed or cut by one, and he was slowly turning.
okay. There's that one, because he's in that one.
That was the one
Then
where
there's the one that they're
they
out
dropped
in
the
the
nuke.
desert.
They literally dropped the nuke, and most of the United States was gone.
And then the one that because he's with the group that are in the desert. Alice is getting some weird psychic stuff at the time.
Well, they
She's
was chasing
developing.
Alice. The group that he
No,
was with was chasing Alice.
no, she was following them. She was following them. They were heading to Vegas because word was that Vegas was safe and they were heading out. And one of the places they were scouting to find food is where he gets
Mm-hmm.
scratched or whatnot. And no, he got hurt by Betty. Or no, he attacks Betty.
Right.
He attacks Betty. Because they had slept together. He got scratched, didn't get bit. He got scratched, and so it took longer for the infection to take hold of him.
Because he
That's
went
what it was.
with a greater majority of the
And
movie
they were
trying to
in
figure out, like, I'm turning, but I can't let people know that I'm turning, or else they would go ahead and.
And he turns in the bus, and I think Betty took him out, and she's trying to get the kids out, and the crows get Betty. That's it. He doesn't get Betty. The crows get Betty. It's the little girl that was in there with him that he almost got, and then Alice saves her and has to take him out. Because what's his name? That's the one that's got what's his name from the Street Fighter movie, the one that played the actor.
Right.
This is where you fall down now. He was the guy in
I
the
mean, that's Mortal Kombat. You talking about
Mortal Kombat. Sorry,
right.
Yeah, he's the one that in the Resident Evil movie, he had the cowboy hat, and he gets to smoke that because he gets to smoke the joint before blowing himself and the zombies up. But
it's like the franchise. It went to me kind of downhill because we still were trying to figure out what does everything have to do with Alice, and then that was the movie that I remembered as like she finally found where they were at, and she ran into the room and she saw the simulation, and they had all these different Alice,
and they had all the Alices, and the one after that is she and those Alices go attack a facility in Japan, and she's like the last Alice standing, and
because she's the original Alice. That's the one thing that they couldn't simulate. They're still trying to figure out how did she do what she did.
They get on the ship and think they've made it to safety. An umbrella comes and attacks the ship. And the next one after that, because they take her prisoner, and then they take her prisoner at the beginning of the next movie, and then that's when you find out they've got this facility where they're running. You see that the Tokyo thing where the girl turns and then starts attacking it, but attacks the guy. That's part of. They have set up a facility where that happens.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that Stars is dead though, because Stars was still around.
No, Umbrella has a facility. I forget what a facility is.
Right.
They take her and they do something with her. They screw up her head at first. And they screw up her head. And what happens is this Alice, they've been running this, they keep running this thing. And this Alice wakes up and realizes something's wrong. She doesn't get all her memories back immediately. She just knows something when the attack comes, because the first time we see the attack is she's with the husband and the kid, they all die. And then you see the facility is in different, they have different sections in the facility, and one section is set up like that, is that place that's set up like Tokyo, where the second movie opens. They
Okay.
have a simulation that they're running.
Did they have a section where it was like in I want to say it was I want to say Florida. The original one I believe was like a facility in Florida.
They had a couple of different simulations that
Because
they were running in this
because
place,
that was the whole thing. They were still trying to figure out how she beat the first simulation, and they never could figure it out. And I was thinking,
she
if they ever captured her, just put her back in the first simulation.
they because the thing is the ones who they were originally the one before this one is she's trying to get to she's trying to get to this place in Alaska. That's where, yeah, that's where they
Mhm.
find the boat. They end up in LA, and the actor and the kid and whatnot, they get out, they get there, they get, I forget where they get, but they have, there's a when she gets taken, and it's not Leon Kennedy. There's some big bad. I keep forgetting his name. There's like a big bad in the game that is supposed to, he's gotten some sort of infection that he can control.
Well, there's been so many different big bads in the actual video game that I can't remember which one was in which movie. I know the third movie had Nemesis. The third movie was definitely Nemesis.
The third one had Nemesis. No, the second one was the one with Nemesis, I think, because
no, it was the third one where they went to Raccoon City.
Yeah, she wakes. That's the one where she wakes
where
up.
They finally introduced Jill Valentine.
She wakes up in a hospital in Raccoon City, and after they've taken her, because the guy who ends up playing,
because Umbrella dropped Nemesis in the middle of all of that.
The guy who ends up playing Lucius Malfoy plays that doctor who drugs her, and then when she wakes up, it's already happened in Raccoon City, and that's the one that's the second one, because that's the one that Omar Epps is in. He's in that one, and then I think it's either the third or the fourth one where they're in the desert trying to head over.
That was the fourth one where they was in the desert.
They're in the desert, because in that one, that's the one where the scientist gets them to agree to go get his little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Because his little girl's school, they had got the little girl out of the school, but there was a traffic accident, and they didn't get her out, and her dad is watching. He's using their monitoring system to see who's doing well. And when he sees Alice, he's trying to call phones.
He's saying somebody overseas know that Alice was following them. And if I remember correctly.
He because you had, what is it? Omar Epps is in that one. The guy from the guy who was in the first two Mummy films. The Egyptian guy.
Right. I know who he was talking about. I'm trying to think who actually played in the third one. Who played Jill Valentine?
She's
you had Jill Valentine. You had Wesker in that third movie.
Yeah, and Wesker's the big bad.
Wesker did not become the big bad as of yet.
He was controlling it.
He escaped to confirm that he was supposed to be the big bad later on.
Yeah, but he in that one, because that's when they get the little girl, and then they find out that the little girl he's developed part of what's going on.
There was a possibility of a vaccine that was in her.
She had to take it every few hours. Because he had a disease, which is how he came up. And when she was born, she inherited this condition from him.
Mm-hmm.
It was too late for him, and so he was using this vaccine to save her. And Umbrella got hold of it and started messing with it, which is how we ended up with the zombie virus.
Or I
He
forgot
had
what
a version. He created a
it was a
version of
step.
the
It was a step beyond the T virus, the original T virus, of what they were saying here.
yeah, because the version he created was to make sure to keep his little girl
Right.
alive. She couldn't survive without it. And because when they finally find her, Alice can sense that she and this little girl are similar. And the girl shows her the thing she's got with the shots and stuff because she has to give them to herself. And so it her father created it, and he didn't create it to be the zombie virus. He had created it to save his little girl, since he realized the condition. He originally intended it for himself, but he had got to a point where he was beyond saving and
Mm-hmm.
realized he had to save his daughter. But in order to do that, he had to let Umbrella had the facility and the money so he could do the research. And then they took his research and started going into more they realized if they did this, that, and the other, they could go more nefariously.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the next thing we know, we've got the T virus, and it's more dangerous. But
It was more dangerous, and they was about to unleash it on Raccoon City. And when too many people found out about it, Umbrella unleashed Nemesis.
they unleashed Nemesis, and then they had to not only they had to get out of Raccoon City because they
Because
were
they're
going to
about to
nuke.
nuke it. Because they were
They're
about to
going to
nuke it
nuke it.
because they couldn't stop the T virus.
Yeah, they
They
realized they
unloaded.
couldn't,
It's like they were successfully able to unload the T virus because of what they did with Nemesis.
because the dude from, and I thought was really interesting. Those, if you've seen Christmas Story, remember the kid with the yellow teeth, the yellow eyes and stuff, the redheaded kid, the bully?
Oh yeah.
He's in that movie. He plays a hero.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Russian in the movie because they
Oh,
were.
okay. Yeah, he.
He's the redheaded
I forgot
Russian
what his
guy.
name was. He
He's
was
the
a
redheaded
star. He
Russian
was a
guy who
member of
fights the
stars.
dogs. He's the
Mm-hmm.
redheaded Russian guy who has to fight the dogs. And so, because I remember when I saw him, it's like, why do I'm watching him and I'm going, I recognize him. But something in my brain says, I hope he gets his butt ate up. And it's like, why do I feel this way about this guy? He's trying to save people. And then I think I saw that in November the first time. And then I sat down and watched A Christmas Story. And it was like,
Please tell me you
that's
watched it.
why I hate him.
Please tell me you saw the sequel.
Which one? The something hot noodles haven a piece?
No,
Oh, okay.
they made
that,
they made a sequel using the original cast several years down the line when Ralphie was in his
Ralphie's
40s.
now he's now an adult.
Mm-hmm.
I only got
that movie was hilarious.
If you like that one, Ollie Hot Noodles Haven of Bliss, which is written by the same writer and narrated by the same guy who did the narrating for the original movie. They did it for PBS. PBS did that one. They're going to one of those summer camp places they used to have for families. Kind of like the place Dirty Dancing was based on, but this is more younger kids and families, so you don't run into those issues. But it's their travels trying to get to Ollie Hot Noodles Haven place.
Okay.
Trying to get there. It's fun. I love it. It's one of those things. It's funny, but it's a sweet, heartfelt funny, just like the first Christmas Story.
Well, if you watch the true sequel of it, where they had the cast come back older, it was the same nice sweetness and everything. I mean, You
Because that's
know,
the type of stories this guy wrote.
hmm
That's, you know,
it,
the
it, it
producers.
was it was great, but I can't think of the name of it. It had a different name. I just can't. I just don't want to call it the sequel to Christmas Story. It had a unique name to it.
But
I don't want to say it's another Christmas Story. It was just it had a unique name.
it had a unique name. I just can't remember it. But like I said, it took me a moment, and it was one of those things where, you know, when you watch it and you jump up, son of a, you
Yes,
know, and they all thought I lost my mind. You know, what is
fragility.
what is wrong with mama? And I sat down because I had it on
Oh,
something.
it was called A Christmas Story too.
Oh, okay. I had it on something where I could watch it again, where I could watch Resident Evil again. I had it on
Mhm.
a streaming service or Sci-Fi Channel or something where I could watch it again. Because back in the day, um, Sci-Fi Channel, FXX, a couple of channels had it where you could they had the main stuff that they ran, but they
Mhm.
also had shows and movies that you could watch anytime if you had a paid subscription for the streaming service. You could also watch, like, say you didn't want to watch.
Oh, okay. I just read something that's the movie that you was talking about.
Mhm.
The movie that you was talking about was like My Summer Story. They said that A Christmas Story 2 kind of erotics that, so it's a direct link between A Christmas Story and Christmas Story 2. It was
Mhm.
with
It's Christmas Story. And then Ollie Hot Noodles takes a couple of years after
when
that.
he was 15. Yeah, he was 15. He was supposed to be
He
15
was
in that
15 or
movie.
something like that, and then Christmas Story 2, he's an adult.
Right.
So,
So they're saying that A Christmas Story 2 does not take off from where that movie happened. And I was like, oh, I did not know that.
no, they happen. It's all the same characters,
Hmm.
but it's at different times in their lives.
Right.
It's at different times,
So
but it's
they're
the
saying that
same
that
writer.
Christmas Story 2 is considered the official sequel to the original 1983 movie.
Yeah, because like I
Unlike
said,
Ollie Hop Noodles, Ollie Hop Noodles falls in that franchise, but it's weird how they explain it here.
well, because it was that one did not make the same distribution. Ollie Hot Noodles was on. It was done for PBS
Hmm.
as part of. I'm trying to remember which series it was done for PBS as part of. Because PBS had certain series. It wasn't Masterpiece Theater. It was another series where they would show things like it's where they first previewed Anna Green Gables before it became a big hit.
Hmm.
Um, and that's where that was because the boys and I sat and watched it and thought it was fun. And I liked it because it was, you know, it was like Christmas Story. It was a sweet, soft movie. It wasn't like Scrooged. You know, it was funny, but not the way, say, Scrooged with Bill Murray was funny, if you get me.
Hmm.
Oh, he's reading. He's not hearing, he's reading
No,
his
I'm
brain.
actually hearing and everything. I was just trying to read. It was like this. It's like what they're saying here about Ollie Hop Noodles was what I'm with what I was trying to kind of like. Someone wake up my memory before I can remember that movie. I don't
No,
remember that movie very well.
because unless you were watching stuff on American Playhouse, I think
Hmm.
was what it was on American Playhouse or something like that. Um, unless you were a PBS watcher, and at that time we were, because I couldn't afford cable, we were PBS watchers. You
Because
know,
that's the only
we
way that you get things like upstairs, downstairs, and a lot of British type shows.
yeah. So we watched a lot of PBS. And like I said, Anna Green Gables, I watched Anna Green Gables. John and I would watch mysteries because he loved the Agatha Christie movies and stuff like that. So, we all had our things that we would watch. And this was one of those Sunday afternoons on American Playhouse or something where they only showed it on PBS, and they only showed it, I think, for so many years. It wasn't like they would pop it out, because um I didn't the only reason I got to see Mikhail Baryshnikov in the Nutcracker for New York Ballet Theater was because they showed it on PBS.
Yep. They said it was a combination of PBS and Disney Channel.
Yeah. So, and unless you watched,
It was co-produced.
like,
It was co-produced. It was co-produced. It was co-produced by PBS and the Disney Channel. I should say it was co-produced
and
between the two.
and I think to find it now, you would and you would either have to look for it on a Disney Channel or look for it.
Probably
PBS.
Disney Plus. I probably could go out
Yeah,
there on Disney Plus and see it, find it. Just like
but like I said,
with the new the newer Christmas story about, and to me the newer Christmas story is so nice and sweet. But it's not a Christmas Story 2. It's not a Christmas Story 2 because Christmas Story 2 was him asking for a car. The more recent one where he comes back as a full-fledged adult, and what he wanted to do was to give his daughter kind of like the best Christmas ever, because
okay,
he had to move back to his hometown. Everything has changed so much, flick on and all this other stuff. It was just like, a man reliving his childhood and seeing his childhood friends and everything, and trying to figure out what does this next generation really want, because he had memories of how his dad and his mom would do for them for Christmas time, but he didn't know how to do that for his own kids. I
yeah.
remember that the sequel that I'm talking about,
Well, like I
but I
said,
can't find an actual name of it. I can't really
it
find the actual name because it's not a Christmas Story 2. Christmas is not
okay.
that's not the same plot.
Like I said, I had seen A Christmas Story because back in those days, it was one of those things where they certain channels would run it. It was getting to be like A Wonderful Life. You know, somebody had it and would run it at least once a year, or
Okay,
somebody
that
might.
was the name of it.
What was it?
It was called a Christmas Story Christmas.
Ah,
It came
okay.
out in it came out in 20. It's like it can't be a Christmas Story 2 because that
No,
came
because
out
two was
that
different.
came out recently. I mean, this movie came out. A Christmas Story Christmas is what I'm talking about now.
Okay, I will look it up. But yeah, it
Mhm.
was like Christmas Story was becoming a little like what's his name, where they were running it every year. There were
Oh, like
channels where you
like
oh,
how
It's
they
a
used to,
Wonderful
like,
Life,
like
where
how
they
they
were
used to do like the Wizard of
White
Oz on
Christmas,
Easter and White Christmas and Hard Rock
Easter
Coco and
Parade.
Joe.
I still I turned my youngest onto that. It was like when he watched that, it was so great seeing him, the light in his eyes. My oldest was my oldest at that point had reached that sort of, yeah, I'm above it all. I am so past this. But John was really
Certain
into Hard
traditions
Rock
don't
Cocoa and Joe.
certain traditions just don't go away. It's like Hard Rock Coco and Joe, Susie Snowflake, and
Oh,
Frosty the Snowman. Frosty the Snowman, you're not going to get around Frosty the Snowman, but that version that they played on the Bozo show,
they were scat
that's the classic staple.
because they're scatting in it. They're singing and do 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 dum 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 ba da dum dum. It had this great jazz.
If it wasn't for that version of Frosty the Snowman, we wouldn't have had the animated special, the 1 hour animated special Frosty the Snowman, because they literally took that presentation and made the Frosty the Snowman story
Rankin and
come to
Bass
life.
did it, and they did it animated as opposed to,
Mhm,
which was their normal thing of, we'll do it with puppet tunes.
mhm,
This was something a little different because they did it animated as opposed to puppet tunes. And back then, the only other things they had did that were animated like that was The Hobbit and then Return of the Kings. Most
mhm.
of their holiday specials were puppet tunes at that time.
Yep.
And then Frosty's Return
Happy
um,
birthday.
also was also animated because they
Mhm,
got Jimmy Durante to be the narrator for for Frosty's return,
Mm-hmm.
and that was also animated. So they got Jimmy Durante to do both of those. You know,
They
because
did.
Frosty was the fastest belly whomper that ever walked.
Yep. And it's like every time he got his hat, it was happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday. Well, that's he had limited he had limited experience, and he fell back on what he knew. Uh,
But it was just weird. It's like it just goes to show you how limited that magic was.
yes.
But it was still magic for what it was.
Hello. It was still magic, So that's all and hey, Billy D. Wolf as the as the magical
Again,
bad guy.
we wouldn't have Rankin Bass. We wouldn't have Rankin Bass. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer if it wasn't for Max Fleischer's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that they did for I want to say Montgomery Ward's.
Ah, okay. Yeah, the song. He did the
No, he did the original animation.
Oh, okay. What was that?
They did a short animation of the Montgomery Ward's storybook.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So they were the first one that did that. Mac Flash was the first one that did that, and then from there,
they went and
Rankin Bass picked it up from there and reworked it into the masterpiece that they did here.
Except that they made changes. Certain parents in the mid '80s started making complaints about the songs because they one of the songs that they sing in the original is Fame and Fortune.
Well,
and they got rid of that song, and then the Misfits song got rewritten.
Well, the indie also got rewritten too.
Yeah, they got up and decided they really weren't, of course my location's currently.
You want to know what you remember what the real ending was before they changed it?
I'm trying to remember. I know in the real ending, if I remember, or unless I'm not old enough to remember, because they've got a snowstorm. He gets Santa. They get off. He leads the way. He's at the head. He's at the head, and they drop the toys. They go to the island of misfit toys, and they give them little parachutes and umbrellas. And Santa doesn't so much as go to houses and deliver them. He just kind of, we're near your destination. Here's here's a parachute. Here's an umbrella.
Well, that's the reworked one.
Okay, what was
the original ending when Santa Claus finally found Rudolph and everybody on the Island of Misfit Toys? He grabs Rudolph. The snowstorm was about to get ready to get bad. They go back to the North Pole. He helped Santa deliver all the toys in the bad snowstorm, and he never goes back to the Isle of Misfit Toys. The toys, the Misfit toys, was still abandoned on the island.
Oh wow!
They ended the movie on that.
Okay,
that Rudolph never kept that the Isle of Misfit toys, the toys that were there, would never got to their home.
My memory was always that they're sitting at the campfire, and they're thinking they're saying it's another Christmas. It's another Christmas Eve. We're still stuck on this island. You're still stuck. It's bad. And then from the distance, they hear the bells, and then Rudolph with Santa and everybody, they land and they pick up the toys, and then they go off and then they deliver them.
That was the newer ending.
all the toys.
That was the new ending.
Okay, I don't remember the
Because
ending.
again, it's like Rudolph made Santa keep that promise to come back to get them.
I don't remember an ending where Santa doesn't
The
come. Where
original ending from the original broadcast, they never went back to the Isle of Misfits toys to deliver those toys. They never
I
went back.
I have no memory of that one.
That's because they only showed it once and one time only because they got so many letters. They
Yeah.
got so many letters about that. It's like, why wasn't these toys given away on Christmas?
Why would you leave those poor toys
Toy
there?
there,
No,
right?
but parents decided that the Fame and Fortune song had to
That was
go.
cut.
And they had to change the Misfits song because
Mhm.
they felt it was a little, I think they felt it was, because I think they used a word other than Misfits at something.
Well, that and they had to change a lot of Santa Claus lines in it too because he came off quite as much as a dick. I hate to
Yeah,
say
the Chris Kringle song. Yeah, I'm Chris Kringle. The when he introduces himself to
it. Right.
whatnot. Yeah, they had to. I know that things that were done from when I was a kid, and then I'd seen it later, and it's like I don't remember this. I remember this differently.
I
There's this
remember.
song that's missing here. Um, but then
No.
I quit watching Santa Claus is Coming to Town because they took out so much, like the song. Um, there were parts of songs or entire numbers, like the where when she realizes that they're all on the side of the Meisterburger, who tells her you should be careful or you're going to lose your job. And she realizes my own town is turned against me. And then she has this whole number. A Kiss a Toy, parents went up in arms. And yeah, how has that worked for us? Taking that song out. Did that change anything? Really? Um, but the whole Kiss a Toy thing, because it's if you want a toy today, a kiss the toy is the price you pay. Um, Climb on my Nephew, don't be stingy, it's the price you pay. That whole song got taken out because people felt it was too, certain
Again,
appealing.
when it comes for kids television and prime time, they were overly sensitive.
But now it was interesting because all through up into what my 20s, that song, we could go to school singing that song because we all knew it. We knew all those songs. And it was like and when I was a child, the parents around us didn't think, oh my God, he's talking about, essaying these kids. It's like, no, that's not what it's about. But it's
Again,
like,
we're in a generation that people don't care about context anymore.
yeah, I was about to say it was the context of it. And the context of it was not their intent, but enough. It was like with the Muppet Show. A million moms gets up that actually only has 5,000 members and throws a fit. But because they're throwing the fit, you know, ABC's like, I guess we need to make them change it.
That's why I miss Muppets Tonight. Muppets Tonight was the greatest sequel to the Muppet Show.
It was good.
It,
That
it was
that
it
reinvention
was
of
a great
ABC,
revival.
and then this Million Moms group throws a fit, and then it comes out that the Million Moms group didn't even have a million members. They
Mhm.
didn't even have 100,000 members. They had like 10,000 members or something like that, calling themselves the Million Moms group. Thing is all they had to do was poll the rest of us. Hey, this group says they don't like what we're doing. If you feel differently, because TV Guide was still a thing back then,
Mhm.
all they had to do was put out something. Hey, if you feel that we should take this show off the air, tell us. Or if you like the show as it is, tell us. Didn't even give anybody else a chance to say anything about it. 10,000 white women with too much time in their hands threw a hissy fit, and they just
It's even worse than that because even before then, if you didn't like something, just don't watch it. Turn off the television. That was the way that you got something off the air.
you just didn't
You
watch it.
like you write your letters and then you shut off your television during that time.
I wouldn't, you know, I would watch something with my kids at least 2 or 3 episodes. If I just decided it wasn't for me. It wasn't offensive in any way. It just wasn't my cup of tea. The kids
Mhm.
were liking it though. Okay, fine. I would
Like
not.
Power Rangers.
Oh, sweetie, I have sat through so many iterations of the Power Rangers. It's not funny.
It's like people like me. It's like, why are you goo goo gagaing over Voltron? It's like, what's Voltron? I showed them Voltron. Power Rangers are better. Okay, if you say so. If you say
At
so.
least Voltron was made to be Voltron. Power Rangers is a result of people stitching 6 different shows together with 4 different groups of actors,
Oh
none of whom have anything to do with the other group of actors, and some guy sitting in a booth going, zoot, 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 zoot. Goodness. I just, I remember I almost got kicked out of a place because this girl I had made friends with, I just tapped because she was like so into Tommy. And it's like, that's not him doing the fighting, right? And
not
she just,
originally.
no, a lot, some of those kids did go on to learn at least rudimentary
Mm-hmm.
martial
Martial
arts
arts. Yep.
school. But when they started that show, none of those kids had that skill that they were doing, and that none of those kids have, and they have other shows where none of those kids have that skill. Okay, not all the people who played Power Rangers, and when you see them
I
fighting in their outfits, that is not the American cast.
one of these days, and it probably won't be soon, but it gotta be. It's going to be shortly, but it's not going to be soon. I'm going to show you the original pilot for Power Rangers. It
It's
is
not,
nowhere close to what
no,
these
it
kids
is.
fell in love with. It had problems. It was exactly like you said. They did not have any fighting skills, no nothing. The the oh my goodness, the original pilot
Stefan,
had so many
look,
problems.
they had 2 or 3 different Japanese shows that they were stitching together to make one episode of American Power Rangers. They had Zords from this show, fight scenes of the Power Ranger crew from that show, which is why on one season you had a Pink Ranger who had a penis.
Yep.
So, it was no, it is
People
not.
people
No,
don't people don't pay attention to certain details. But if you saw the American Power Rangers original pilot before they recast some of the people that we have now for that first season,
I don't even want to think about it. I
because
don't even want
I'm
to think
sitting up
about
here, it's like, I'm up here, it's like, that's why I like the last Power Ranger movie that came out because they really explained what Zordon really was. The TV show never explained who he truly was and why it was so important for him to find people who could tap into the grid. The
it. But
movie did. The movie actually tried to explain that.
but
And
the series would just, and the acting, they hired these kids for their face value.
mm-hmm.
These kids, most of these kids on these series couldn't act their way out of a paper bag. And the storylines that they were coming up with for these kids, especially Dino Rangers, um, was just yes. I have raised two boys, and I am that rare parent who paid attention to what they were watching.
I didn't start really paying attention to Power Rangers again since until it was Power Rangers in space and Power Rangers Lost Galaxy.
I don't know
It wasn't
what it
until
is.
they went into space that I started paying attention to Power Rangers. All the other ones to me was like, this is not my cup of tea. This is not anything that I really want to watch. But oh, they actually went back into space and it was getting back into the original lore about Zordon and how it's affecting all these other races and everything. And they were starting to talk about the grid more in detail. I was like, oh, I like this. This makes more sense.
But so many, like I said, and they still hit on this thing. They just have American kids who they write these. They get the cheapest writers possible, you know, and pay them. If those guys are making scale plus 10, I would be shocked. I would be shocked. I know the kids aren't working for scale because they're not doing the full series. That's how they save money. They only shoot the kids for the scenes when they're not in costume. They'll have them shoot something with a mask off or something, and they'll do the voiceovers, but they're still taking fight scenes from two other shows that they're shooting in Taiwan or Japan and stitching all that crap together and saying the people in
Well,
America are so stupid they won't get it.
it, just like the police one, I can't remember what the police one was, RPM or something like that. Power
Yes.
Rangers
Oh
RPM.
my goodness. Please, please, you give me. I need to go eat. I got to get up in the morning and
I
go
saw
get
I
my
saw episodes
shopping
of that. And I
done.
just started like, why do kids love this stuff so much? It's like I saw scenes for like, you guys know that this is not the same Power Rangers that's over there in Japan. This is like two other series
They're
that
not even called Power Rangers in Japan.
Super
They're not even,
Sentai something. It's Super
yeah,
Sentai
Super
something that they
Sentai
call it.
something, and I can't remember it. But it's like, okay,
It's kind of like
it's a,
their offshoot of Gotchaman.
yeah, definitely. It's like an offshoot of Gotcha Man. And
Just
it's,
like what was the other one that they call here? VR Trooper
oh,
and Common Rider. Common Rider
stop,
was
stop.
another Super Senpai series that we got a weaker, watered down version of that over here, as
I,
opposed to what we got in Japan.
I need to go do dishes and then I'm going to eat and then I'm
Yes,
going to go to bed because I have to get up in the morning and go
you're not going to
to.
watch your show.
I I tried to get a nap in and I couldn't.
Mhm,
And I will try and watch it while I eat, but I got to
mhm,
get dishes done because if I don't
mhm,
start on these dishes, we'll have mice overrunning the apartment.
mhm,
So I got to get the dishes done now. One or two dishes in the sink, the mice don't
mhm.
care. But stuff that's on the countertops and stuff, I need to take
Oh,
care
you
of
got to
that.
wipe all that stuff down. Yep.
And I got to wash the pots because for some reason they see a pot and go toilet. Well,
Why all of a sudden I was thinking about the stupid little duck for Tom and Jerry? Oh boy, a swimming pool.
so I need to take care of that. And then after I've taken care of that,
Uh-huh,
I've got Charles put my food in the microwave, thankfully.
mhm,
I will pour myself a little more tea, raspberry tea. I love it. Um, I will pour myself a little more tea and I will eat. I will watch as much of the show as I can while I'm eating. And then I will rinse my stuff out and go back in my room and I will lay down or prop myself up with pillows and somewhere I will fall asleep and I will wake up and YouTube will be going, "Hey, we paused the video. Do you want to watch more?"
yeah.
and There'll be something else that, or I'll wake up and there's like something else that's playing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I look at the clock and realize they stopped 3 hours ago. So, that happens. Luckily, though, for those of you who are interested, if you miss a live Critical Role show, and technically they're not live anymore because um, these are actually recorded not these days because of the lateness, and these are people with kids and spouses and whatnot, and they have lives. Um, if you miss a Thursday night show, just wait until I think it's Courtney. Is it Monday or Tuesday the next week where they do it?
Monday.
Monday. Just the following Monday they'll see it. So whatever I don't see tonight, I will catch Monday evening, because hopefully by then I will have gotten everything worked out that I need to work out, and I can at least catch it. And then if not, Tuesday, because I know it'll be available for me on Tuesday, because I can catch it on Critical Role's channel, because they
Mm-hmm.
have their own channel. I'll sit down and eat we're making burritos for Cinco de Mayo.
Notice that there's no laughter.
Why is there no laughter?
Because a
because
certain
Cliff's
person is
not
not
here.
here to make fun of it.
Yes, Cliff not here to make fun of my burrito, of
Oh,
my
it's like he was the one that
seasonal
brought it up like
burritos.
burrito season. It's like when he said that, it's like, no, dude, stop. Only
It's
thing I
duck
can see
season,
now is the
wabbit
Bugs Bunny
season,
and Daffy Duck.
duck season, wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season. And with that, I need to sign off, or I'll be here another 20 minutes and I
All
won't
right,
get anything
go ahead.
accomplished. Okay. Thanks for being here. I know I took us off the rails again. I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad girl. But hey, we did talk about comic book related. We started with comic book related stuff, and we went in that, other things. Anyway, thank you for being here. Whether you watch us live, whether you watch us taped, we love you and we appreciate you. If you don't catch us live a couple of days from now, you can catch the recast, and of course Saturday night you can catch Joe on Small Press Publisher. And if you want to catch me, Elaine Haygood, I got my own channel here. lenscaponline.com is my website. Go check it out. Leave me a message. I get it directly. I don't have, my assistant does not read any of my emails. So, I read that stuff myself. Drop me a line, say howdy, I'll yell back, okay? And yes, it's raining, my allergies are going off, so I've been scratching my nose all day. Don't come at me, because I might say something really bad to you, okay?
Or she might flick a mean booger at you.
Bye.
As always, this episode of Comic Book Spectrum is brought to you by Plasma Fire Graphics. If you need a cover for your brand new novel, graphic novel, or comic book, hit up Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics. Why? Because you won an award-winning author, award-winning artist who have won several Pulp Factory awards for his covers. And his covers do bring people to your product or book and have them to ask, what is this about? If you don't believe me, maybe you will believe this video.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
And there you have it. If you like what you saw, hit up Jeffrey Hayes at plasmafiregraphics.com or hit him up on his Facebook group for Plasma Fire Graphics. As far as I'm concerned, as Elaine said, I will be here Saturday with another episode of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. We got a lot of books to go over for new comic book pickups for the week, and we're probably going to have another discussion about comic book collecting and comic book production. We already covered one of many different people who have passed away over the last month here. I'm not going to worry about who have passed as far as the creative side of everything here, but we're going to celebrate what we love here, which is the comic medium as itself here, and talk about the production aspect of it, or in this case, we're going to talk more about what happens after you complete collections and what is next for maintaining said collection here. But that's a conversation for Saturday. So until next Thursday, live life, grow, and be well. And unlike the founder of Comic Book Spectrum, Brian K. Morris, I do not care if you wash your hands, but never, and I do mean never, apologize for being awesome. Catch you next week right here on Comic Book Spectrum. Good night and have fun.